Hi Ramesh, so just a quick video to talk through the question you sent in yesterday. So I've spotted a couple of small issues with the setup of the survey that I'm just going to talk through, and I'm just going to talk through two different ways that you can get this set up. So the first thing I noticed is that in your screening block, the questions that you have the skip logic set up on, these are set to skip to end of survey. What's happening when you skip to the end of the survey is that when they hit that skip logic, they are skipped the whole way down to the very bottom, even past this end of survey element. It literally skips every element that's in your survey flow. So what's happening is they're actually being skipped past your end of survey, your customized end of survey message, and I'm just getting the generic, the one that's set up for all users in your survey options. So that's why they're not receiving a customized message. What this should be instead is it should read skip to end of block. So what will then happen is they'll be skipped to here. Then they'll hit this branch, and if they obviously don't meet the criteria, then they'll move down to your customized end of survey message. So just changing that will fix them being redirected to the incorrect end of survey element. The second thing I noticed is that in here in your branch, there's actually one issue with the logic setup that will actually mean that every last single participant will not meet this criteria. So when you're using not selected, you really have to be careful. So the way this first thing is reading is that if 1 day per week is not selected, or less than 1 day a week is not selected, because this question is just a single answer choice, there's always going to be one or the other of these that are not selected. So therefore, this is always going to be true. So what this should read is that if 1 day per week is not selected and less than 1 day a week is not selected, to ensure we're getting all the people who click both or either one or the other of these. I know it's confusing, but with not selected, it kind of works opposite, and it really has to be thought about. The third thing then is that people who do meet this criteria and move down this through the blocks, when they reach the demographic block and finish that, the next thing in the survey flow is actually this end of survey element. So once they finish this demographics block, they're just going to skip down to this end of survey element, which is your screen out end of survey. So that's obviously not what we want. So your option there would then be to click on add a new element here and introduce an end of survey element here. And you don't need to customize it so that they will just get their the normal end of survey message that's set up in your survey options. So that will just ensure that they don't receive the screen out thing. So they would be the 3 steps to take to fix your current setup. I just want to also quickly just talk through probably an easier way of setting this up, just so you know this in the future. So if we take this branch, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to completely reverse the logic on this. So instead, what I'm going to say is this or this is selected. And if this is not selected and this is selected. So I'm basically completely reversing the order. And I'm going to click OK. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to swap all of these blocks for your customized end of survey. So I'm just going to move that here. And then I'm going to move all of these down here. What this does is basically ensures that I don't have to insert a second end of survey message into your survey flow. So basically what's going to happen is the screening, your skip logic is going to skip them to the end of the block if they meet one of the screening criteria. Then they'll meet one of these criteria. And then they'll be directed to this end of survey element. So just be sure that this is working. This might have to be changed to or if they meet any one of these criteria. That's probably what it actually does have to be. So if they meet any one of these criteria, then screen them out. So we're just screening them out nice and early in your survey flow, and whoever isn't screened out then just continues down through the survey as normal. So this is a copy of the survey in your account if you want to just take a look at this for reference. But I hope that does answer your questions. But if you do have issues setting this up or have anything else you'd like to ask, just let me know.